You're listening to another episode of You Heard It Said with Jesse and Tim, a production of Jubilee Studios.
I really gotta fix that guy.
The music sounds good though.
Dude, the audio in the one ear is like real jarring out of that beautiful music,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden it's like,
Should we keep it in one ear, but then just make it a whisper? By the way, you're listening to Jubilee Studios.
hey, welcome to another episode of You Heard It Said. We're glad you're back. If this is your first time listening, why are you listening to part 2 first? That's silly.
It's backwards.
Yeah,
You silly goose.
we're back with our friend and coworker and neighbor AJ Hochhalter. Did I say that right?
No. Hochhalter.
Okay.
Hochhalter. Some
Hochhalter.
of my family say Hochhalter.
Hochhalter.
It's a silent CH. We
Okay.
say Hochhalter. I don't know why.
Yeah. Okay.
I only know how to say AJ's last name because his mom was teaching at my Bible college. She was around when I was there, but I never had her as a
Oh,
professor.
you never did?
No.
Did she say Hochhalter? Is she a part of the AJ's family that says
Butchering the family name.
Hochhalter?
I don't think I would be surprised.
That's how Shaylee's family is too. Half of them say Shaylee, half of them say Sheely.
Sheely.
And like literally Nathan's brother
Says
says
Sheely?
Sheely.
Huh?
I like saying Sheely.
Yeah. Maybe I'm gonna start calling him that to his face.
Do you think he'd be mad?
I don't know how.
I do say that to his daughter's face.
Do you?
I do. But I can't imitate how I normally pronounce her name because minors.
Oh, her first name.
Should I go ask Melissa for parental consent?
No, they have
say
to
her
send
name?
it to us. We can't.
Dang it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Yeah,
Right.
but so AJ Hochhalter is back with us for our episode on worship.
That was
Part
good.
2. Yeah. So again, if you didn't listen to part 1, you're gonna want to because we're building off of it.
Yeah.
But
Should we give a 5-second summary of part 1?
That would be good.
Essentially, we laid out 5 different frameworks for how you can understand worship. And these are like different popular frameworks that you'll see throughout many churches. And the frameworks are worship as encounter, which is all about experiencing the presence of God in worship as kind of the highest goal. And the second one is worship as mission, which is all about the worship service being the front door into the faith community. And so what they're all about is doing attractional stuff, fun stuff that will get people into the service. And then worship as formation, which is where we kind of land as a Reformed church, which is all about worship as being the primary means that God uses to form us into a covenant community and into the likeness of Christ as individuals. Those are the 3.
yeah.
And you
again,
said, go for it, Ted.
I was gonna say we talked about it being a Venn diagram.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was what I was going to bring up.
Each of them has its good. Each of them has its bad.
Yeah,
done wrong.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And the idea is to be able to encompass all of those.
And try to, balance them all. Yeah. Try
Yeah.
to land in the middle of all those 3.
yeah.
Yeah. Worship is a space where we encounter God. It's worship needs to meet people where they are to some degree. It has to be in their own language, for example.
We're going to talk about that.
And I think that might be a good segue.
Can you imagine if church was only in Latin?
Yeah, dude.
Right?
What even is Latin?
Pretty sure it's a dead language.
I mean, kinda. I mean, it's unless you're Mr. K, you read that.
Yeah.
But then and then we admitted, right? It's not like, oh, worship can be formative. It's like, no, it is.
It is.
And that was sort of like what brings us to our camp.
Yeah. Fun fact, the only language that I had to take in school growing up was Latin
Like all
Dude,
the way
you're
through.
old
in
school.
7th grade.
Like
Dang.
what?
Yeah.
Dude, we had to do in my elementary school. The only language that was offered was Spanish. But once I got to middle school, Spanish, German, or French.
Nice.
Middle school through high school, and I was so bad at Spanish. Like one time, I failed so hard on a test, my teacher didn't even give me the test back. And the kid next to me got his test back, and he got a 16%.
Oh my God.
So that means that
So
I
you
was
did
worse than
that. My Latin name in Latin class was Nasus, which
Okay.
means nose.
Did your teacher give you that name?
Yeah, and
Oh,
I'm kind
man.
of offended.
Yeah.
Hey, nose guy.
Because
what does this mean?
whole cultures are known for our noses, and so I'm like,
Really?
yeah, we all have very distinct noses. If you see us next to each
Like
other,
all of your noses are different from
no, they're
each
very
other. Oh,
they're
okay.
very similar. Yeah.
Come in all different shapes and sizes. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I
That's
was like,
wow.
I was like, that is brutal.
interesting.
My Spanish name, I was telling students about this the other day, was Domingo. Not Jose, like which is my Spanish
is-
yeah.
name, version of my name. Like I loved it. Domingo's that's a
It's a
great,
great
Spanish
name.
name. Yeah.
Yeah. My
It's also Sunday.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
My German name should have been Timo or Timotheus,
Mm.
but this kid, because that means Timothy,
Uh-huh.
this kid named Tyler took it. Freaking Tyler. So my name was Wolfgang,
Of course.
which is that also makes sense. So I was pretty happy with that still.
You have a Greek name, Tim. You have a Hebrew name and a Greek name. Oh,
Yeah.
I guess kind of, yeah, right. Because Aharon, Aaron,
Yeah,
and Johannes.
it's John.
It's just
not
John.
It's not Johannes.
And you read it in you read it in.
That's a funny thing. I have Johannes on my Facebook. Me
Dude,
and my buddy.
you got to keep Johannes though.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I did it in college.
Because when I'm
as a
reading my
joke.
Greek New Testament, I don't read John. It says Ioannis.
it's your
Ioannis.
Christian name.
Yeah, it's a Christian name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But my actual name is Aaron John.
You should go by.
The funny thing
Johannes.
though, somebody got us a wedding gift with our names embroidered on it.
Oh,
And they embroidered Aaron Johannes on it.
It's amazing.
Did he think it was for real?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
It's funny. Anyways, worship.
Yeah.
So speaking of languages,
Yeah, let's talk about
yeah,
let's get there. Let me give a little bit of
Yeah.
overview first. So
set it up.
we're
a
going
little
to
more.
talk about the word liturgy because we're talking about Reformed liturgy. We're
Yeah.
first going to define liturgy.
What does that word mean?
Then we're going to talk about the content of a worship service.
Mhm.
And then we're going to talk about the form or the progression of a worship service.
Okay.
So let's first define the word liturgy. And I have 3 definitions of the word liturgy that we're going to talk
you
about.
should probably pick one.
They're all relevant.
Okay.
So first, liturgy comes from the Greek word liturgia. Liturgia? How do you say that?
Liturgia.
Liturgia.
Yeah.
Which means the work of the
Liturgia.
people. Which all this refers to is essentially just what happens when the people gather. The work of the people. What are the people doing when they gather for worship? And what this emphasizes for us is that the people are supposed to be primary participants
Mm-hmm.
in the worship service.
Yeah.
And so one thing that came out of the Reformation, a correction of the late Middle Age Catholic Church,
Mm-hmm.
was that they had tended towards something called what a lot of scholars call the clericalization of the liturgy,
Mm-hmm.
which means essentially the priests in the church and all the the church leaders were the
Mhm.
ones doing the liturgy. So
Right.
the liturgy,
The priests and bishops.
the priests and bishops, and yeah.
Okay.
So, number one, the liturgy was in Latin.
Mm-hmm.
Latin was not the common tongue of the day, so people had no idea what was going on.
Wasn't even the common tongue in Jesus' day.
Right?
So they were literally just like
Anyways.
sitting listening to someone speak another language.
Yeah. Number
literally.
two,
Yeah.
the singing was all done by like choirs. There was no like congregational singing
Yeah.
Oh.
or anything.
When did you say this was?
Before the Reformation, like
Yeah.
Okay.
late Middle
Medieval
Ages.
Okay, so
Catholicism.
thousands.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
early
thousands up till
thousands.
1500s.
Maybe even back like 800.
Okay.
Mm.
I'm trying to think when. I don't know. Don't
Yeah,
quote me on that.
I
got
have no idea when it started. I just know more about.
I just know this
up
was a
until-
problem when the
right.
Reformation
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah.
So the people didn't understand what was happening. It was all in Latin. The people didn't sing. It was just like choirs and like ensembles singing.
Mm-hmm.
And then it eventually got to the point where the people didn't even participate in the Eucharist.
Yep.
Whoa.
The priest would partake in the Eucharist on behalf of the people.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So
I
what the
didn't know that.
reformers did,
That's wild.
what the reformers did was, number one, they had worship in the language of the people.
Smart. Yeah,
they
good move.
they translated the scriptures into the language of the people, so the people could actually read it,
Yep.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And then number two, they started to engage the whole congregation in singing. Like Luther and Calvin were all about congregational singing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then
And singing the Psalms specifically.
singing the Psalms specifically, yeah. And like Luther would like take like bar tunes and put
Yeah.
like Christian lyrics on top of it.
Really?
So because these were tunes that the people already knew,
Yeah.
and he's like, let's give them.
So what you're saying is the current secular music, we should take those tunes and put biblical lyrics to them.
That's exactly it. Yeah.
Okay.
If we want to be like Luther.
All right, Posty, let's go.
I'm down.
And then number three, they opened up the table so that the normal Christian could participate in communion.
Right. Yeah.
And there was a higher emphasis on the preached word, so that people could understand what's actually in the Bible, right?
Yeah.
So that's liturgy as the work of the people. The main thing that we learn from that word, that definition, is that worship is meant to be participatory.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
And so like, if you go to a church where it seems like it's a performance and there's no expectation for you to participate,
Yeah. Sit back and watch the show.
you may need to reevaluate like what's happening here. Why is it like this?
A reformation may be coming soon.
Yeah. And so we have different cultural issues. Like our problem is like, if we go into an auditorium with dark lights,
Mhm.
like
movie
a movie theater, our
Yeah.
knee-jerk reaction is to turn to a consumeristic posture, right?
Yeah. Passive.
We're here to
happened me.
receive whatever
Mhm.
the performers are offering us.
Mm.
And that is the opposite of what we learn from that word liturgy. The liturgy is meant to be the work of the people. We're supposed to be the main participants in the service. And this is why, side note, this is why we like to have the congregation super loud on our live stream,
True. Yeah. Yeah.
because it's not about like what's happening on stage.
Yeah.
It's about what's happening in the room as a community, as we all participate together.
Yeah.
Okay.
Except during the sermon, because it makes it sound.
Yeah, then it just
Yeah.
sounds funny.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good note too on just like the whole idea of like a worship leader. Some people might think of that as like, they're doing the worship and I'm like kind of joining them versus like,
Yeah.
like they're leading us. They're leading all of
Yeah.
us into worship. Like they're guiding the process. They're not the ones that are like,
Yeah. You're not watching them worship.
They're not the pop stars.
Yeah.
They're not the
Yeah.
one taking the
Exactly.
Eucharist on our behalf.
That's the biggest one, man.
Dude, that
It
was
confounds me
wild.
when I think
It's
about
wild.
So I don't think I realized that, because that also then points to the fact that like the Reformation also like, because some people definitely look at the Reformation as Catholic Church didn't change, that's why we left, and that's why we are doing our own thing. But the Catholic Church obviously changed.
Yeah, this was
Like,
Vatican II.
Yeah, like they're
They officially in Vatican II like unlocked a lot of those old rules
Yeah.
and allowed for more contextualization of the liturgy,
Yeah.
which is what the reformers were trying to do.
So I've never been to a Catholic mass. I've been to Catholic weddings, and like
Mhm.
it's sort of a full mass. Is there singing in a Catholic church?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm
Yeah. And then
I'm
They
like
trying
would do
to-
they do different songs than us.
right. I was gonna say I'm trying to picture them singing like Oceans.
Spiritually,
But they've got organs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I can't picture a Catholic church having a full band, I guess. Do they do that?
I
Or
was
is it
at
more
a
organ
Catholic church
led?
with a big organ, but it's hard to find organs these days. It just in general.
Oh, yeah, that kind of.
Like they're not
yeah.
very like old school.
Dude, we got to go back to San Diego. That
Oh,
organ.
yeah?
Have you been to that church, First
No.
Pres in San Diego?
No.
Their organ is like 3 stories. The pipes on that thing are like 3 stories tall. It's
Sick.
wild.
Dang. This
Um,
is somebody's full-time job to clean that thing.
I am not sure about like contemporary music
Yeah.
in Catholic churches.
I'm trying to remember what
Catholic friends,
song.
tell us.
I had a student that her family was Catholic, and then I joined her for like a evening service, and I'm trying to remember like the kinds of songs that we sung. I can't remember, but I do remember the homily, right, which is their sermon basically, like realizing in that moment, oh, the Protestant Reformation had a big impact on the Catholic Church
Yeah.
because it just sounded like your average sermon
Yeah.
that you would walk into a Protestant church and like very similar stuff. He's just in, you know, priestly garments.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
the main difference. But
Okay.
yeah.
Second definition of the word liturgy.
Mm-hmm.
And this is kind of more like a modern understanding of it. It really just refers to kind of the order of events when we gather in worship.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And what I would argue is that even churches that are not liturgical
Mhm.
have a liturgy. They have a normal order of service that is going to be very similar from week to week.
Yeah.
So even non-liturgical
Right.
churches
So-
have a liturgy. All churches have a form
Uh-huh.
that they will typically follow.
Right.
And
Even if
honestly-
they don't have a call and response or they
Yeah.
recite a creed, there's a understanding between the people and the people leading the service that we're going to sing 3 songs and we're going to hear a message and then, or we're going to do announcements and then,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
we're going to send you guys off.
And here's what I would also argue. Even if like your primary goal is to be like innovative and do something new every week, so it's not the same every week,
Mhm.
Which that would
that
drive me
is
crazy.
still a liturgy.
Yeah.
The motivating force behind that
Yeah.
to be new and to be innovative every single week is a liturgical posture,
Yeah.
let's
Yeah.
say.
Yeah.
So everybody's got
Yeah.
a liturgy. Every church does. So that's the second definition.
With that definition in mind, I honestly almost feel like the more, I'm trying to remember the ways that we put it last week. I don't want to call it performative because that has a negative connotation. But the more attractional churches,
Yeah, like the missional model. Yeah.
yeah, I feel like sometimes they don't seem liturgical like you pointed out, but I feel like sometimes theirs is more strict and rigid than ours is.
Yeah, for sure.
Bec-
It's all timed down to the minute
Yes,
too, right?
like-
yeah.
So I went to a church in Pennsylvania that was outgrowing its campus. And so the problem or the solution they had was they had 2 services happening at the same time twice on a Sunday. One was in the traditional sanctuary and the second was in the gymnasium. And they had different bands.
Mhm.
One, the traditional one was a little bit more traditional music, and then the gymnasium was more contemporary. And they had to have it But then the pastor was one pastor. He would speak in one of the spaces and simulcast it to the other.
Yeah.
So they had to time it up
So they had
perfectly.
it perfectly timed out so that each worship pastor finished their prayer at the same time, so that then the pastor could immediately start.
It'd be so stressful.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And like they honestly had it down to a science, and I don't know how, because they would occasionally throw a wrench in, because like when I left, I was a camp director. This church was a big supporter. I didn't know that the church even knew that I was a part of the church. It was a pretty big church,
Uh-huh.
Oh wow.
and they like thanked me for my service, and I was like, who told you I go here? Like, since when
How did you know?
Yeah. Well, and so I was friends with like one of their random staff members, but like I wasn't even a member of the church yet. Like we were making steps to become members, but we weren't members yet. And then we got an offer here, and so we moved out. But it was their
wild.
liturgy was so
It's a very that would probably have to be a very rigid structure, right?
Yes. Oh yeah, very much so.
I've heard some people make the case that that's like in a similar way to the medieval Catholic Church. Like that's an example of high church. So like
Yeah.
high liturgy.
Yeah.
Like so some people think like, oh, non-denom church, that's like low liturgy.
Yeah.
But like if your space is communicating lots of things within itself and there's a lot of order to
Yeah.
it, that's high liturgy. And what ends up being lower, like low church, we might say, that's just a term for like, it's kind of ambiguous, but like a term for, well, there's not as much in the space that's like trying to communicate things in and of itself. There's not smoke, but there's also not like gold and the things that you might find in a Catholic high cathedral. But the space is meant, and this is where I'm leaning a little bit more, the space is meant to communicate, well, this is a space for worship of God. So it's not going to be distracting.
Yeah.
It's not going to distract away from what the space is being used for, if that makes sense. So it's going to, and that's where you get the Protestant architecture. This ends up being about architecture.
Yeah.
That's more what I'm talking about than just order of worship. Where the space, you have high ceilings.
Yeah.
You don't have a lot going on within the space. You have a cross, but it's meant to like lift your
Draw you.
attention up,
Yeah.
lift up your hearts.
Yeah.
That's
Get some
Anyways.
flying buttresses in there.
get some, yeah. The thing everybody learns about in like a
In
Intro to
Humanities
Art.
101.
yeah, Humanities 101 or Intro to Art History, Architecture.
Right
Anyways, okay, so that's a good distinction. There's still like whether or not you consider your church part of a tradition or not, it still has liturgy. Might even be high liturgy.
Yeah,
as
it could
we
be.
say.
Yeah.
So high and low literally just means the volume of liturgy. Like
I don't know.
Your-
Maybe you have a better.
a high liturgy
So
is
I
more
definition
would
than I do.
kind of my understanding of high liturgy and low liturgy is a high liturgy church would put a lot of emphasis on aligning with like the historical liturgy.
Mm-hmm.
okay. So
And
you
low,
want
a low liturgy church would not emphasize having historical practices.
Sure.
whether or not they have liturgy.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to fight Jesse about this then?
No,
Let's
I
have a-
think he
no,
makes a
let's have
good
a
So,
point.
debate.
but
I think he
but
makes-
high and low liturgy is different from high and low church.
Guys, I'm trying to content farm here. Fight, please. We need this.
Which AI bot paid you to do that?
no, what
clipped.
I think what Jesse's saying though is that high liturgy in those churches, there are different things in the environment that communicate intentionally.
Sure, yeah. Yeah.
And so
Smoke
like
screens or incense?
they're both communicating.
Pick
They're
one.
not necessarily maybe saying the same thing, but they're
Sure,
both
yes.
communicating. So it's
yeah, thank you.
yeah. So okay, third definition
Yeah.
of liturgy, is that where we're at?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
This is my favorite one. This is from a guy named Lester Ruth. He is a worship historian. He
Okay.
is a legend.
Okay.
Say his name again.
Lester Ruth.
Lester Ruth.
Yeah.
2 first names. One of them's for a girl.
Well, that's his last name. So.
Right. Yeah.
He's Methodist, I think.
Okay.
Okay.
Is he Methodist? I don't know. Lester, if you're watching this,
He's a theologian.
he is. He's a legend.
He looks like the guy who does the survival videos on YouTube with his kids.
Yeah, he does.
Oh,
Yeah. Okay, so I read an article that he wrote a couple years ago where he kind of turns this definition of liturgia on its head a little bit.
Okay.
And both can be right, and I think both are right. In the Old Testament, that what happened in the gathered worship, there was a lot of activity by the priests mediating the people's worship to God. So being a go-between between the people and God.
Okay.
And so we can say liturgia means the work for the people.
Okay.
In as much as what was happening in the gathered worship was what was the priestly work. And so then when we think about Jesus as our great high priest, and we think about how Jesus fulfilled all the Old Testament laws, all the Old Testament priestly duties through his own sacrifice, and how he's now currently mediating on our behalf in heaven, what liturgy could mean is essentially the work of Christ.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so what does this tell us about what worship should be? It tells us that the main focus, and this is a good segue into content, the main focus of our gathered time should be the person and work of Christ.
Okay.
So let's go there. Let's go
Okay.
there to what should be the main content in gathered worship.
Okay.
And
Let's
we
do it.
can look all throughout the Old Testament.
Yeah.
We referenced it last time. Let's look at like one of the first songs, the Song of Moses and Miriam after
Exodus 15.
the Exodus.
Mm-hmm.
This is essentially an entire just salvation recitation, all about the saving work of God, what they just went through and how God saved them.
Yeah.
This is retelling the story of salvation.
There's no mention of Moses, which is so funny in
Right,
the song.
right.
Like it's in part Moses' song, but like there's no like, oh, look what Israel did. Look what Moses did.
Yeah,
or
yeah.
Aaron. It's like
Yeah.
just all God. God gets all the glory for it.
And this is one side note that's really fascinating to me about the Exodus is that they brought tambourines.
Apparently.
They're fleeing for their lives.
Yeah.
And they remembered the tambourines.
Honey, grab my go bag. Has my tambourine in it.
But I think that says something, right? Like they remembered to bring the tambourines because they knew God was going to do something and they knew they were going to celebrate it.
That's cool. I haven't thought about that before.
Yeah.
Isn't that
That's cool.
wild?
I like that.
Tambourine would be last on my list if like my house was on fire.
Well, yeah, but that's you can't like
You gotta get your
pack a
guitars
drum
out first,
kit,
AJ.
You know?
I would bring the guitars. You're right. I would bring the guitars.
Yeah.
Okay, so then we look through. Let's see. Solomon. Let's look at Solomon in the inauguration of the temple too.
Oh, sure.
That whole liturgy is also full of retelling the saving work of God.
Yeah.
Let's look at then a lot of the Psalms. Some of my favorite Psalms. They all, or not all of them, a lot of them retell the saving work of God all through.
Yeah.
And even if they're not explicit, like, hey, remember the Exodus, remember the return from exile.
Yeah.
There will often be little like hints, like using those like exilic language or Exodus language for like, hey, you remember that though. Like you know, you're an Israelite, so you're picking up what I'm laying down.
Yeah.
That's a good example.
So what I would say about this is that the primary content of our worship should be all about God's saving work through Christ.
Okay, there's the twist. Not just stuff that happened in the past, the Old Testament, but
Yeah.
through Christ.
Yeah,
That's
tying
the
it
center.
in. This is why
Yeah.
like one of my favorite songs is called Christ the True and Better,
Yeah, it's a good one.
where it's all about these Old Testament Christological figures, and then it talks about how Jesus is the fulfillment of those
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
stories. That song is really good. And so one thing that I often think about when I'm like evaluating a worship song, what makes a good worship song?
Yeah.
Not only do I want it to have like biblical imagery and biblical language, and I want it to align with like our Reformed theological perspective.
Yeah.
One thing that's really important is to see who gets all the good verbs in the song.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, who's
Is
who's
this-
the subject?
Is this song all about what I'm doing for God, or is this song all about what God has done
Mhm.
for me?
So can you give us an example of some on both sides of that, some that are really good at this and some that are popular that maybe we're not realizing aren't great at that? Because I'm sitting here kind of like, yeah, I agree. Worship should always be about God and focus, but it's like, who
Let's
would
see,
disagree?
You just mentioned
in
oceans.
thought.
I guess. No,
Here's
that's-
one,
Yeah, you got one.
and this is maybe a hot take.
Send
Clip
it.
it. Clip it.
Send it.
I don't have the lyrics in front of me, but the song "Praise"
Oh.
by Brandon Lake.
Yeah, by Brandon Lake.
Mr. Lake
Here's the
Is
thing.
commonly getting.
Here's the
getting
thing. It
shots
checks.
from him.
It checks some boxes, right? It's got biblical language. It's literally "Praise the Lord, O my soul." That's a
Uh-huh.
psalm, right?
Yep.
And it uses biblical stories, biblical
Yeah.
images.
In the valley, on the mountain, when I'm sure, when I'm doubting.
The problem is,
Uh-huh.
it's all about I praise you. What's the line about praise is the weapon?
Oh my gosh, I was
enemies
just about to-
drown in?
Yeah, praise is the weapon, my enemies drown in.
That is about.
How
that-
have I never asked you about this
yeah.
one?
So like I think that's the reason we haven't done that song is because it's all about what we are doing for God, and somehow because of that, God is going to give us victory over our enemies.
Yeah.
When actually, like, the enemies that drowned in the Old Testament that he's referring to,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
that was God splitting the Red Sea
Yeah.
and then closing
Yeah.
it. Like
Yeah.
the
And
Israelites
and
didn't do
Israelites like,
anything.
All they did was run.
Yeah.
You're like, why'd you leave us out here to die, Moses? It's literally what they say.
Yeah. Even though that song is super catchy.
I think I'm on the wrong one.
Absolutely.
I'm not seeing the drowning
And
line.
so-
I never knew what to do with that line, dude. Because it almost sounds like the opposite. Like
Yeah.
like praise is what my enemies are getting.
Yeah.
They're just drowning in praise.
Yeah.
Well, so that's
But
why it's so
I know
tricky
that's not what it
because
means.
there are songs that sound really good. So Oceans, what do you think about Oceans?
Let me look it up.
Because I
Call
know
me out on
I
the
know
waters.
Oceans gets some flack, but like Oceans, I love that song. I know Sheely loves that song. We actually talked about that.
No, I don't want
we
the
hear-
7 oceans of the world.
The 7 ocean. Also, what's the difference between an ocean and a sea?
I think it's oh man, I'm not about to answer your question. I was just realizing. Yeah, at what point if you pour enough water into a sea, when does it become an
Well,
ocean?
it's like the Indian Ocean is quite small. We forget about that one.
Tune in next time for
Uh,
our episode on oceans.
Is that part of geography? Do oceans count under that? Or is that
Well,
just land?
Okay, I'm reading through it. I'm
Okay,
reading
you
through
ready?
it.
Okay.
Okay. That was good. That was good riffing though. To give me some time. Okay. You call me out upon the waters, the great unknown. Okay. Who gets the good verb there?
You call.
God gets the good verb.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so I think this one might be okay. Here's the thing here's the reason we don't do it.
Yeah.
Number one, I don't like it very much. But that's actually not number one. Number one, I think some of the imagery is a little bit confusing.
Yeah.
It
Okay.
is. There is biblical imagery in here, right?
Yeah.
But-
Elemental imagery,
Yeah.
water, fire at times.
Yeah.
There's fire in
I
this
think,
song?
but I think some of it is a little bit confusing. But some strengths that it has. It says, "Your grace abounds in deepest waters. Your sovereign hand will be my guide."
Mhm.
God is getting the main action.
Mhm.
It is
Yeah.
about the character of God.
Yeah.
And then the chorus is a response to the character of God. I will call upon your name. That's a strength. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
And I think the bridge is also very strong. Spirit, lead me where my trust is without borders. Let me walk upon the waters wherever you would call me.
Yeah.
I think that is really good because it's asking the Spirit to lead. That's very God-centered, not us-centered,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Like we're the ones doing the action, but it's by saying like, hey, we can't do this on our own.
Exactly.
Give us the strength. Yeah.
And then
Okay.
yeah,
Right.
it ends with the chorus, which is a response to that, the Spirit's work in our lives. I will call upon your name.
Mhm.
Keep my eyes above the
Okay.
waves. Yeah. I think it's theologically, I think it's strong.
Yeah. So 2 songs that we don't do, but examples of both sides.
Here's the one that we do.
Cue
Um,
laugh track.
Oh shoot.
There's one called Great Things by Phil Wickham, which is
Yeah.
all about just like reciting like what God has done. Like, come, let us worship the Lord.
Yeah, there's an invitation.
Come,
at
let
the
us bow at his
beginning.
feet. He has done great things.
Hero of heaven, you conquered the grave.
Yeah, and then the whole chorus is a salvation recitation. Hero of
Nice.
heaven, you conquered
Free.
the grave.
Free
Yeah.
every captive, break every chain.
What's the song that
Back
we
to the Exodus. We got cross and Exodus right
Yeah.
right in the chorus.
Boom.
what's
Love
the song that we do that is bad?
Challenge you to find
None
out.
of them. It's not when AJ's leading it, but the
Oh, hot take.
notorious Days of Elijah.
Oh yeah.
And how it gets, how that song gets these are the days of
Your servant
Your
David
servant David
building the temple of the Lord.
Yeah, building the temple of praise. It's like,
Yeah.
actually,
David, actually,
That's
David
all
wasn't
right.
allowed to build the temple.
I don't know if we read about his son, but
if you read 1 Kings 17, no, I'm just kidding. It's not even where it's in.
I was gonna say,
It's
pretty
not-
sure it's
it's
Elijah.
not.
Yeah, it's not.
It's not it.
We just did a series on First Kings.
I know. It's in Samuel.
It's way before that.
Yeah,
You're supposed to go. You're supposed to go around and go. Well, actually, that's how sometimes we get like perceived when we critique worship songs. Though it's like, what do you want? Just like this theological treatise for your
Right.
song? Like, what do you
No,
mean you
no.
want a song that's theologically accurate? It's like, no, we just want songs that are biblical in their language, not like, oh, everything has to be a complete quote. We're not saying you have to only sing the Psalter hymnal. You can only sing the Psalms, or you can only sing, what's the regulatory principle?
Yeah,
Right.
The only things that can be done in worship are those that are prescribed in Scripture.
Right.
That would be the
Mm.
regulative principle.
And some people have a very narrow definition of that, where it's
Yeah.
just like, well, you can only
Yeah.
sing the songs that are in the Bible.
yeah.
Right.
What blows my mind is the ones who are like, we only sing the Psalms, but it's like, but what about the other songs that are in Scripture?
Yeah.
Like, why
Yeah,
are you not okay with those ones?
yeah. They would call it like exclusive psalmody.
Yeah, I
And-
went to a church that was like that.
And I always say the Bible's not even exclusively psalms.
Right.
Right. Like
Did this come up on our last episode? Or maybe this
I
was
think
a
we
staff
talked
conversation.
about it,
We probably
yeah.
did. Because you mentioned Exodus 15. It's like the earliest song
yeah.
in Scripture.
Yes.
But then you even have songs in the New Testament that are just Colossians 1, Philippians 2. There's little hymns that are tucked in
Yeah.
that scholars are realizing today, like, oh, these aren't just like Paul
Poems.
is Paul's like, oh, let me give you some theological answers. He's just like, it's just like as we sing.
Yeah, yeah.
So what you're saying is the New Testament's actually just like a musical.
yeah. Yeah. Hey, the beginning of Luke is there's
Right.
all the Lucan canticles.
yeah, dude.
I don't think I knew that.
The Lucan
There's-
Canticles.
There's
Dude, why
4,
has no
maybe
one made a
5
movie
songs.
about this?
That's a good
Jamie.
that's a good example within the Gospels, right? Like narrative, and it just begins with all these songs.
Yeah.
Mary, Zechariah,
Simeon,
Simeon,
the angels.
Okay.
angels.
Those
yeah.
are the four.
Yeah.
The Catholics would also reference the Ave Maria by Elizabeth.
Yeah, right, because it's blessed are you of among women,
Yeah.
right? That's where
Yeah.
that comes from.
Pretty
Ave
sure the song just goes.
Maria.
That's the only word in the song, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I actually learned that. We sang it in high school once,
Okay.
and we were on a choir tour in Europe,
Dope.
and we were gonna sing it, but it was a Protestant church,
Okay.
and the pastor came up to us and asked us, "Please do not sing the Ave Maria."
Get
What?
that Ave Maria out of here.
Because, like, you remember, like,
Oh well. Okay.
That's where we get
Protestants
Hail Mary from.
yeah,
That's just
yeah,
what it is.
Hail Mary,
like-
full of grace. Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, they
Um,
got salt from murders and stuff.
yeah, like,
I guess.
Bloody Mary.
Yeah.
This is a different Mary.
Yeah.
Right.
Not Mary
Queen Mary.
Tudor.
Dude, in
So, like, there's some real. Anyways, let's. We don't need to keep going on the Ave Maria.
Yeah.
Okay, we talked about liturgy. We
Yeah.
talked about the content.
yeah.
Now let's talk about the form or the progression.
You know, I don't like how structured this is.
You know, like the liturgy of this liturgy
Yeah,
talk.
what the heck, guys?
This is too high liturgy for me.
Okay.
Okay, that's it. Just so I'm clarifying, and maybe for the sake of others, like, so we talked about what is liturgy, what does that word mean in its various forms. Talked about the content of worship, so the things that we're singing, biblical
Let's
things
say
centered on
we
Christ.
we could even say like themes.
So the themes centered on Christ, and now we're talking about, okay, when we're gathered and worship together, what does this progression of our liturgy look like?
Yeah, like what is
in
the order of
chronological-
events? Yeah, what's the
chronological order.
chronology of events?
Okay.
And so we think about this by using that word form, and an example of. Let's think about how form and content interact with each other.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Because I'm going to make the argument that form communicates
Yeah.
just as content communicates.
Mm.
Okay, so imagine
Okay.
you have a plastic water bottle.
Okay.
The form of that is the water bottle.
Yeah.
The content is the water.
Yeah.
But you see a plastic water bottle and you know what's
You know
in
what it's
there.
for.
You know what it's for.
It's designed
Mm.
for a specific
Yeah.
purpose
Yeah.
to hold water.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now
Okay.
imagine a Starbucks cup.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know what's in there. It's coffee.
Is it a Christmas one or is it not controversial?
It is in this case.
Oh my goodness.
Whoa.
You know what's in there, right?
Yeah.
It's coffee of some type.
Yeah.
And then imagine a wine bottle.
Okay.
They have a very unique form,
Mm-hmm.
but you know what's in there. The form kind of gives you a hint as
Yeah.
to what's in there.
Are you looking at pictures of wine bottles?
No.
Oh.
Now imagine
Shopping.
Now imagine that that plastic water bottle.
mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine you take a sip and it's vodka.
That's not what I expected.
Whoa.
That
Yeah.
is saying something is happening here, right? That's
Yeah.
saying something, it's communicating something. Even if it's not like saying something profound, it might be. Somebody might be in trouble, right?
It's true.
Or somebody might have just not had something to like transport their vodka in. I don't know.
We're going to be checking every single Stanley that comes into youth group, by the way.
At the very least, that is disorienting.
Mm-hmm.
The form and the content are not.
There's a mismatch.
Yes, they're
Yeah.
not matching up.
'Kay.
Now imagine you take a swig out of that Starbucks cup and you find out, oh, that's whiskey.
We're just putting alcohol in all of these.
Not
you
the
gonna-
last one. That at the very least is disorienting, but like if somebody's drinking whiskey with their coffee, that's saying something about the situation of life that they're in.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
Right?
Even if it's just an Irish coffee, it's still coffee.
You're still
But it's
drinking in the
alcoholic.
morning.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, now
Okay.
imagine that wine bottle,
Yeah.
but instead of wine in there, it's olive oil.
Oh, plot twist after plot twist.
I was
I
thinking
never know
like
what's
a
coming
slushy.
next.
the
Coffee. Oh no, dang it.
What is that saying? Like, it's saying something, and when the form and the content are mismatched, at the very least, it's disorienting.
Yeah.
At the worst, it is communicating something other than
Yeah.
the original purpose.
Okay.
So with that
Okay.
in mind,
So with
Okay.
worship.
I would argue that the liturgy, the order of events in our services,
The form.
is like that water bottle.
Okay.
We want to have a form that matches the content.
Yeah.
It's what houses or contains
Yeah.
or delivers the message or the
Yeah.
content.
Yeah. And so what does that mean? If the content of our worship is all about the saving work of Christ, the gospel,
Mm-hmm.
then the form, the order of our worship should also be structured around that story.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Honestly, where my head is right now, as I'm hearing hammers in the background, is also like how important your facility is to this conversation too.
Sure. Like what
Like-
what your space, the place that contains the worship, the physical space that contains the
Yeah.
worship, what that communicates. Is
Because
that what
it
you're
does.
saying?
It's
Yeah.
these things are not neutral, right?
Yeah, they're not
our,
neutral.
Our space, our aesthetics, they all say something.
Yeah.
And
You don't need to have bougie, rich,
Yeah.
expensive, but like sorry, another hot take here, but when your sanctuary looks like a warehouse, it's disorienting because you're like, this
it
doesn't,
can be, yeah.
it doesn't feel like a holy ground. Again, growing up, a different church that I went to, literally a warehouse
Yeah.
because that we were a new church and that's the space we could get.
It puts you in a specific posture too.
Right?
Because
yeah.
we already talked a little bit about this, but in our culture, if you go into that type of space, you're expecting entertainment. You're expecting
Sure.
a concert. You're
Yeah.
expecting
Yeah, the space
A
is
movie.
communicating what it's
Yeah.
for.
the space
I
is
also went to a church and a
communicating
movie
what
theater
it's
once.
for. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like it just even subconsciously puts you in a specific posture.
Yeah.
And so what we want to do with our even with our architecture
Yeah.
is to try to utilize that to help people to be put into the correct posture for worship.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we want to utilize our that's how we want to utilize also even just the structure of our service.
Mm-hmm.
So now, if we can agree that the content is supposed to be the gospel, then the form should be the gospel. Let's talk about what is the gospel and what's a good, easy way to understand that structure.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So you've probably heard this summary. It's creation, fall, redemption, and reconciliation or consummation, whatever. That last one, a lot of people use different words.
Yeah, restoration, consummation.
Yeah.
I like consummation because restoration is. You could also put that in the redemption category.
Yeah.
Like there's some blending between.
Yeah. So let's talk
new
about
creation, which is just creation.
Yeah.
Anyways.
So let's talk about in creation what happens.
Mm.
God speaks
Mm-hmm.
and creation happens.
I see where you're
Right? Right? So here's the important thing that we learn in the creation movement of those four movements of the gospel is that God initiates and God reveals himself, his character in creation.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next movement, the fall, Adam and Eve fall into sin and break it.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next movement, Jesus comes, lives, dies, rises again, and fixes it, right? Redeems us, redemption.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last movement, the reconciliation, or the, what did you say before?
Consummation. Whatever.
This is when the Spirit, or when Jesus comes back to reconcile all things to himself. You good?
Yeah. I was there's a painting behind you.
Okay.
I was listening, I promise.
He's admiring.
So here's the cool thing that that we talked a lot about in our master's program is that, and we talk a lot about this in Reformed circles too, the already but not yet nature of the kingdom.
Kind of like the painting behind you.
What is it?
Just kidding. It's not at all like that.
So the cool thing is that
That's
reconciliation, that fourth movement, it's not something that we're just looking forward to. It's something that is actively happening now. Is that when Jesus sent his Spirit to inaugurate the church and to empower his disciples, that was an invitation to join along with Jesus and the Holy Spirit's work of reconciling all things to Christ. And so that is the work of a disciple.
So you're saying part of worship is what some have termed inaugurated eschatology, which I know is a term that you like, because we talked about it in our Melchizedek conversation, and time, and if
Dude, did you listen back to that episode? That's so embarrassing.
No, dude, it stuck out to me because it's about God's eternal kingdom breaking into the present. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Because I threw out a term that's very,
Yeah.
That's very theologically dense, but that's what that means.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, that
it's not just off in the future, is what you're saying.
Exactly. That last movement is both now and we look forward to the full coming of Christ when he makes all things new.
Yeah.
So those four movements. And so what I want to do now is kind of explain how those four movements inform our weekly practice.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's what I realized as you were talking through. I was like, wait, I recognize this. Hold on here.
I know this.
Yeah.
So we always start our service with what we call gathering. And what happens in this is that God speaks a word of welcome to us. God initiates our worship. And that's just like how God spoke and initiated creation.
What I just realized is a key word in the Genesis 1 narrative is gathering. God gathers the waters above. He gathers the earth into one place.
Would you read the Bible when you did this, AJ? What is it?
Right, there's a bringing together of things. That's kind of and that's what creation literally is. Like if you create something, you're taking chaos and materials and bringing it together into some unity.
Yeah. And so that's the image of the gathering too.
Yeah.
God gathers us up from all across the county wherever we are into the community to worship him. Yeah. And also in the gathering, just like in creation, we meditate on the characteristics of God. And just like in creation, God reveals himself to us in creation. Like if you go to the mountains and you learn something about God. Like I always learn, like when I'm driving up those hills and I'm on the edge of a cliff, it makes me like realize God is huge. And the magnificence.
Yeah.
But also like the danger, right? There's that weird, almost paradox.
Yeah, beauty and danger, goodness.
Yeah.
All kind of wrapped up in one.
So that's what happens in the gathering is God gathers us together and we meditate on his characteristics. And we draw that from that creation movement.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah.
And then the next thing that happens in the service, we always have a prayer of confession.
Yeah.
Because the next thing that happened in the story, in the narrative, was Adam and Eve fell into sin and broke everything, and sin taints everything. And so in our worship, how we frame it is, God, we've just been thinking about your character, and
Mhm.
now we have to do some self-examination. In light of who you are,
Mm-hmm.
we have to realize that things are broken
Mm-hmm.
in here and out there. And so we confess that to God.
That's a good little note there. Just not just it's an individual. I'm
Right.
sinful. Yeah. But like that seeps out into creation
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Creation
and
groans.
society and systems and like
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
culture, like things are broken.
Mm-hmm.
So we always do that in confession. And then we hear the assurance of pardon,
Mm.
which is always a biblical passage talking about talking about the saving work of Christ, how he has redeemed us and made us right with God. And so that falls in line with the redemption portion of the creation narrative.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is where things can get a little bit more flexible in that. So
Okay.
in the redemption portion, we also have the sermon. This is where we
Mm.
hear about what the Bible has to say about, hopefully, if it's a good sermon, it's going to talk about Jesus, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Otherwise, it's probably not good news.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
not the gospel.
yeah, so the sermon is like a microcosm of the liturgy, hopefully, in as much as it is a representation of the gospel story.
Yeah. That's
So-
a good way to think about it.
And also the cool thing about the Eucharist or communion
Mm-hmm.
is that it's got both that gospel recitation in it, so it could fall in redemption, or it can fall in
Consummation.
consummation, because, like we talked about with Melchizedek,
Yeah. Anamnesis.
anamnesis, when eternity breaks into the
Mhm.
present. And so, like in communion, we're participating
Yeah.
not only with the Passover, but also with the wedding feast of the Lamb.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So communion is a response to the saving work of Jesus. It's also a reproclamation of the saving work of Jesus,
Right.
and it is a looking ahead to the reconciliation of all things in Christ.
Yes.
So the Eucharist is really rich in that regard. It's also
Kind of ties a lot of things
Yeah,
together in
yeah.
one simple meal.
Yeah. And so Jesse talked last time about how Eucharist means thanksgiving, right?
Oh yeah.
And so sometimes in our church, we don't always have communion. We actually only have it once a month. So what we do to give thanks to God for his saving work instead is we usually have the offering at that point after the
Sure.
sermon. So
Mm.
in response to what God has done in Christ and what he has spoken to us in the sermon, we have the opportunity now to submit to Christ by giving our gifts and our offerings, by releasing our wealth, but also to participate with Christ through giving to different ministries that are doing the work of
Mhm.
reconciling all things to God
Mm-hmm.
through the power of the Holy Spirit, that are participating in that work, which gets us into the consummation portion of our liturgy that lines up with the consummation portion of the gospel narrative.
Sure.
So we're always sent out.
Okay. Yeah.
We're sent out into the world to go and participate with Christ in redeeming all things to him. And so that's how those two kind of line up. The sending, the scattered
pretty good.
worship.
It's a pretty good framework.
So what I would
I have a question for you about something
for it.
earlier, unless
Yeah.
you're gonna
no send
move
it.
on.
Yeah.
I think one of the things, like I'm imagining when if I was a high schooler or when I was in high school, one of the things I was always kind of curious about is the like prayer of confession. Like, why do we need to like corporately confess our sins when like maybe I just have something I need to deal with, like that I can just bring up to God? Like, why do we need to do that corporately, like as a body? That's something I might ask, but I don't know how you'd respond to
I
that.
think I think I would lean on the formative nature of our practices.
Uh-huh.
So if you are regularly confessing your sin in worship, that is a skill that you build.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you're practicing, you're getting reps in the service.
Yeah.
So when you fall into sin, now you have language to bring
Sure.
that to God in a meaningful way. And the second important part about that is that in our corporate services, we never confess without an assurance.
Yeah, right.
And so,
Right.
and
It's a 1-2 punch type of deal. Two
And
sides
so
of the same
the-
coin.
what I would hope is that in your own personal life, if you fall into sin and you confess your sin, you can then be reminded, I know what comes next.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You're reminded of the
Yeah.
saving work of God in Christ. And hopefully even some of the passages that we read may come to mind,
Mm-hmm.
right? I draw from like a small group.
Sure.
So you hear if you worship with us for a while, you'll hear the same ones over and over.
You're
And
giving us
that's
language
intentional
Yeah.
because I want those passages in your bones so that when you need them,
to. Yeah.
Mm.
they're there.
W- One that's grown on me within the confession, the prayer of confession is, I can't remember where it's from, but it's part of our Reformed confessional prayer liturgy. But the whole help us amend what we are, direct what we shall be,
So that we may
For
delight
the
in your
thing-
will.
yeah, and walk in your ways. But then before that, I what is
Merciful
it?
God, we confess that we have sinned against you in
F-
thought, word, and deed, by what we have
By
done.
what we have done, and what we
and
left
what we have
undone.
left
That was the part I
undone.
was trying to get to. That's a really good, like, especially I might remember the things, some of the things that I like intentionally did wrong. I
Yeah.
like went out of my way to sin. But then like to have that humiliation, and I don't mean like shaming. I mean
Humbling.
bringing it low,
Yeah.
being made humble. When I go to church, it's like, yep, even the things that I didn't do,
Yeah.
the things I did passively or didn't even know that I did.
Yeah.
Like, forgive me for those too.
Yeah. For sure.
And both the confession and assurance, this is making me think a little bit more deeply about it. It's really good at training us for what our human condition is.
Yeah.
You have both. I'm a sinner. I'm a saint. I do have a sinful nature, but I've been redeemed,
Yeah.
and that's good news. And then I
It's-
can move forward with gratitude and
it's-
not just shame.
It's that pattern of sanctification, the mortification, and
Yes.
the vivification,
Yeah,
right?
dying to the old self, coming to life of the new.
Yeah. And that's like a pattern that we need to do every day.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah.
And so, yeah, I think it's really valuable. So now why, I've got one story about what happens when your content may be good, but your form is a little bit out of whack.
Okay.
There was a church that had every year they had a really strong like orphan ministry,
Mm,
which is really
that's
was
cool.
really valuable and really important to the congregation. And so they would each year have Orphan Sunday, where they would kind of highlight the orphan ministry and
Is that what it was called? Orphan Sunday?
Orphan Sunday, yeah, and
Okay.
reflect on the things that they were working on and doing, and reflect on the fact that God calls us to care for the orphans and
Yeah.
things like that. And so they planned this service, and they started off. They knew that it was important to have a confession.
Mhm.
So they did. So the confession was themed all about how often we overlook our call to care for widows and orphans. I mean, look at all around us. There's things that are broken, and we're not upholding our Christian call to care for them like you would have us do. And that was essentially the prayer of confession.
Okay.
Which was fine. It's thematic. It's fine.
Yeah.
Right.
Sure. Okay.
And it was probably true too. Right. But then after the prayer of confession, what they did was they went into a ministry highlight of all the things that the ministry had accomplished on behalf of orphans that year.
Okay.
Forgive us, but look at all the cool stuff that we did.
Yeah, exactly. You get it. And so this church, it had just gotten a pastor that had been there for a long time had just retired.
Okay.
And he did a lot of really good stuff. But he was very interested in how can we how can we affect change in our community? And how can we, do Christian stuff, right? But over the years, it morphed into kind of a soft legalism.
Okay. Yeah.
Where there was not much emphasis on the action of God saving us through Christ. There was more emphasis on what can we do for God.
Yeah.
In the community. So and I don't think
which like sounds like a good thing.
Yes. But
yeah.
And that is how that liturgy came about, right? It was about like God calls us to do this, and so we did it. Celebrating our work versus now, how would I plan an Orphan Sunday, right?
It just sounds funny to me to call it Orphan Sunday. I don't know.
Right.
It's like Youth Sunday, but a little different.
Oh, no. That's good. That's good. So here's what how could we do that better? First of all, we want to start the service with the character of God. God initiates worship. So what do we know about God and orphans? We know that he's a father to the fatherless.
Yeah.
So let's think about how God is a father to the fatherless, and let's worship him for that.
Yeah.
Let's also think about how God calls his people to take care of the orphans like they did. And let's confess that, we don't do that good of a job.
Yeah.
But then let's hear an assurance of pardon about how we were all orphans.
Yes, thank
and
you.
we've been adopted into sonship. We are heirs with Christ now.
Yeah.
We're not orphans anymore.
You circle in everybody else then.
Yeah.
When you do that.
Yeah.
We're heirs with Christ.
You identify the person who doesn't think they're an orphan with the orphan because they're adopted too.
Yeah.
So every Sunday could kind of be Orphan Sunday.
Every Sunday
That's
is.
true.
It
when
is.
you think about it.
It is, Tim, if you think about it.
So
One
I
big
expect you to start
orphanage.
this next Sunday. Welcome to Orphan Sunday.
Yeah. And then we can consider, okay, in response to us being made heirs with Christ,
Grateful response.
we can respond to that and participate in the Spirit's work in reconciling all things to himself through caring for the orphans.
Yeah.
And we can even highlight, look, in response to what Jesus did, this is the things that we've accomplished last year. Let's celebrate the work of the Spirit through those things that we've participated with him in.
Mm-hmm.
So this
I'm
is how I
hearing
would
another tie-in: guilt, grace, gratitude. We just went through the Heidelberg Catechism, and and the gratitude word's really important because it's, sometimes I feel this way when I'm feeling convicted about some particular, maybe it's a justice issue in the church, right? We're specifically, we're not looking out for the orphans. That might be somebody's passion. And this is really common, I think, with first-year Bible college students. They're like, the church needs to do a better job of this. So then they enter into, all right, so-and-so's got to write a liturgy. And they're going to write a prayer.
Yeah.
They're going to write a congregational prayer. And then, example will be, like, it'll be this, like, praying to God, like, Lord, help us to do a better job. Like, we really suck at this.
Yeah.
We don't look after the orphan. And you can do it in such a way that truly ties in everybody else, or you can do it in a way that's condemning and pointing the finger and not making it a corporate thing. But then sometimes we act out of frustration, like, well, the church needs to do this. It's like, yeah, there's a lot of things the church doesn't do it. And like the church, it's kind of not very perfect, as you can tell. And like doing those things out of frustration and expecting that to fix things like that's just not going to work. But it's like, you start with the gospel as the response to our own sinful nature, and then, hey, if we've been adopted, how much more should we care for the widow, the orphan? Like, it's a way better approach to things, and that's how the New Testament works.
Yeah, precisely. So what I would argue essentially is that if the primary content of the service is meant to be the saving work of Christ, we've got to package it in a way that orients people correctly. So the packaging is that form, is that structure. And then the added bonus is that if we do that every week, even if like a song isn't that great, or even if like a sermon is like not that great, the people still get the gospel every week.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then what happens over time is that story gets into our bones, and hopefully the Spirit uses it to shape us more into the likeness of Christ.
Yeah. Well said.
Just through the liturgy.
Yeah. Because the alternatives are ugly.
At minimum. Yeah.
Right. Like if it's only ever all about the sermon and whatever. If the sermon, this is a whole nother thing we'll talk about in episodes to come. But like if the sermon doesn't have the structure too, it's going to be prone to just being whatever. Hey, here's this. You want to hear the story that's has some poorly placed jokes and it just ends up being all about the person.
Yeah.
And then the person, the preacher, the pastor, they end up becoming the center of the liturgy or whatever's going on in their life, versus, all these things that you laid out kind of work together to tell a story about Christ, right? Not just a story. That's important too.
So the really cool thing too, I wasn't planning on getting into this, but I think it's cool.
But
and
hey,
I think
why
it's
not?
worth talking about. Is that not only is the liturgy retelling the gospel story, but if we follow the liturgical calendar, that also is retelling the gospel story.
Yeah.
So all of those different holidays that we celebrate are basically just retelling the story of Jesus. And then, so like the beginning of the church year starts with Advent, Christmas, Jesus' birth, and then Epiphany, when Jesus is revealed to the Gentiles, which is when the wise men come, right? And then it's ordinary time. And then we get Lent, which is when we journey with Jesus for those 40 days.
We're out in the desert with him.
We're in the desert
fasting
with him and also walking towards the cross and the crucifixion. And then we get Ash Wednesday is the kickoff of that.
Yeah.
And then we get to Palm Sunday, which is retelling the triumphal entry of Jesus.
Yeah.
And then Maundy Thursday, which is retelling the story of the upper room when Jesus gives his disciples the new command to love one another. And he also institutes the Lord's Supper. Good Friday, obviously, when Jesus is crucified. and then Holy Saturday, which is that time when he's in the tomb. And
He's
then,
invading the gates of Hades.
dude, that's going to be my next tattoo. The harrowing of
Oh
hell.
yeah, the harrowing of hell.
Ooh,
I've-
nice.
That's the one graphic I've brought into a sermon
I
more than
remember
any
it,
others. I brought it in. Oh, you're right. I brought it in
Yeah.
on Monday, Thursday,
Yeah.
and then I did one when I was at a previous church. But
And then Easter Sunday,
Nice.
obviously we celebrate the resurrection of Jesus. And also, I don't know if you knew this, every single Sunday is supposed to be a mini Easter anyways. That's why we celebrate. That's why we worship on Sunday, not the Sabbath, which is Saturday.
Right. Yeah.
We worship on Sunday, the resurrection day. It's actually the first day of the week, and it is a work day. What does that mean?
That's why we're That's
We worship,
that's why I'm working.
we gather
right.
to worship, and it's the first day of the new creation. It's the
Yeah.
8th day.
Yes.
The first day of the new
Oh, I'm so
creation,
glad you brought
where
this
we
up.
get to acknowledge that we participate with Christ in the work of the new creation, which goes back to the sending stuff and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Easter, and then we get Ascension, which is when Jesus goes up into heaven, and he's up there interceding on our behalf right now, alive.
Right now, yep,
Bodily.
bodily.
Mm-hmm.
It's good.
And then we get Pentecost, which is then 40 days later when Jesus sent, or is it 50? 50 days. 50 days later when the Holy Spirit falls upon the disciples and the church is empowered and a new community is formed.
The
And
Church
then-
of Christ is born, then the Spirit
There you go.
lit the flame.
And then we have ordinary time. And in the Catholic Church and the Orthodox Church, there's all these different saints' days.
Yeah.
And what does that say about the purpose of ordinary time is to celebrate the continued work of Christ throughout the ages, throughout church history, through these different saints. And so it's still telling the story of Christ, but now it's through the Spirit-empowered work of the saints working along with Christ. So that's what the Orthodox and the Catholics.
Yeah.
So they get the whole story. We just do ordinary time and just throw different
But we
series.
still
in
share
there.
that vision, even if it's not in our church
Yeah.
calendar, and even if it's not with saints. We have this vision that like we're continuing to, where basically Acts leaves
Yeah.
off, and yeah,
And there's different stuff like our Catholic friends will have a much more detailed overview than
sure.
what I just gave you. Like
Sure.
there's different days, like they'll celebrate the Annunciation.
Yeah.
The what?
The Annunciation, when the angel comes to Mary and says,
Oh,
"Hey, you're
yeah.
going to carry
Okay.
the Savior."
Mary's pretty important, so it makes sense.
Yeah. And they'll celebrate other
Ave
stuff
Maria. That's what we say.
That's
too. We
right.
also celebrate, or we don't actually, but there's like Christ the King Sunday.
I forget about that one.
I don't know that
Trinity
one.
Sunday.
There's Trinity Sunday that
Dude,
comes after
I'm
Pentecost.
just making up a bunch of stuff.
And I think Christ the King Sunday is right before Advent.
The wedding feast Sunday.
I don't know.
The water.
I'd have to
wine
look it up.
Sunday.
But
This is
those
all-
are those are the big ones, and
Yeah.
I think it's really valuable to not only do we order our time together by the gospel in our weekly hour, but we order our whole year around the story of Christ, and that in itself has a formative nature.
Yeah, we begin to see, if we look at our year that way, we might see time as more sacred,
Yeah,
a creation of God that He intends to form to His purposes
and used
and-
to sanctify
and used
us.
to sanctify us,
Yeah.
to tell a story.
Anyways, it's reform liturgy.
This was good. This was really good. I think we addressed a lot of the questions that students were curious about, in terms of, especially students that come from our church and are like, why do we do the things that we do? And you explained it very well, and I think in a deep way that I don't know, I find very compelling, and this is one of the reasons why I have found the Reformed tradition to be my home. It's not just about the theology in some airy sense. It's not just about the preaching or John Calvin or whatever. It's a lot of it has to do with worship.
Yeah. For me, it's definitely been a shift. As you've heard, and we've talked just in life about the difference of my background. I definitely got here and was like, oh, this is kind of boring. Like this is pretty slow and monotonous, but like when you understand it, it's beautiful. It's honestly like art.
There's a
me.
richness to it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, there's actually a picture up here yesterday that was a really good example of this for me. It was like Joel looked at this and was like, what is happening in this? There's so much disorder. There's like, what is this? All this random stuff. And it was a picture. So all of our art is always Thomas Cole. Maybe that'll change, but that's what it's been for like a month. But it was him looking at the decades.
Oh, yeah.
And so there was like a pyramid, and there was
of architecture. He's looking back in time. Yeah.
there was a pyramid in the background of a pantheon, of a Greek pantheon, and like other, and then there was
Egyptian Hierapolis,
and then there was like
Sacred
a Gothic cathedral in the foreground, and it was like, what is this? It doesn't make sense if you don't know what it is. And then when you stop and look at it, it's like, oh my word, the imagery of this, the intentionality behind the order of this stuff is like, it tells a story that you don't even realize you're hearing every single week.
Yeah.
That's so important. And like you said, like it goes into your bones.
Yeah.
Like it becomes it. Yeah. You don't even hear you don't always hear. If you're paying attention, you do. Right. The importance of this story that we're living.
Mm-hmm. No doubt.
So thank you for faithfully structuring, building our Sundays in such a way that honors God.
Some priestly stuff you got going on, AJ.
Yeah.
Hey, what's the next song? What you working on next? Or is it a secret?
For Eden Dust?
For whatever. Could be.
Are you another artist too?
AJ, could be Eden Dust.
I'm working on
a third alter ego, maybe.
Yeah.
About to
Kind
be released.
of?
Oh.
No. I'm working on right now a EP for Eden Dust based on the canticle of St. Francis. And it's called, the canticle is called Brother Sun.
And Sister Moon.
And Sister Moon.
Oh my gosh. You mentioned that to me. That's the only reason I know about it.
Yeah.
It's because you told me about it.
It's a really awesome song, poem.
Yeah. Nice. Okay.
That talks all about creation and yeah. So like I'm doing one track for like each portion of creation.
Cool. Oh, cool.
That St. Francis praises God for.
Nice.
Like so the first one I did was called Brother Sun because that's the first one, and I have that one done.
Nice.
So I'll give you guys a little sneak peek. But then I got to do Brother Moon, or is it Sister Moon?
Sister Moon, I think. I don't know. Let me look it up.
I got to read it again.
Are you gonna collab with Forrest Frank on any of this?
Would love to. Would love to. Yeah.
Nice.
Forrest, I'll send you what I got if you want to do a verse.
Just it's like this this lo-fi.
Are there words in any of these?
No.
Are you gonna? No. Is Eden Dust always gonna be instrumental? Nice. Yeah. I like that.
Yeah. So the other thing, I've got a couple of songs that I'm working on that aren't worship songs. That's more just about like
whoa.
That's more just like songs about
AJ,
experiencing.
Yeah.
About experiencing like being a human.
Yeah.
So like I wrote one for my son Noah that is.
And you can say his name because his parents have given us consent to
shout out Noah.
Shout out Noah. Yeah. What episode did we do that?
It was like 2 ago.
Okay, I gotta find it.
It was at the very end of an episode.
Oh,
we forgot. I know. It's one of the Heidelberg ones.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll make him listen
probably number
through
one.
the whole thing.
Yeah, he's got. That's why we did.
He loves listening to it. He thinks
Yeah, and he's 7.
8. Yeah,
8?
he's 8. I don't think he is like
Someone might be going over
understanding.
it.
Yeah.
I think he's
sad.
more like, I know Jesse and Tim. They're like, they have a podcast.
Should we start a You Heard It Said Kids?
You know what? Yeah.
What if we did a questions from kids podcast?
I think that would be great.
Whoa.
That would be sweet.
I mean, and like answer it for kids.
Yeah.
Dude, there's so many. My kids
Mhm.
listen to a podcast, or a couple podcasts during their quiet time, and it's
Yeah,
just like that we use Tiny Theologians.
Yeah,
is a
we've done
really
that.
good one.
We've done that one, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I have a voice for kids. I don't have
You
a
don't need to
children's
have
ministry voice.
No, you don't need to have a kid's voice. We don't need to just like high pitch everything. It's such a
I don't know, but what do you think about it? Yeah.
Hey everybody. Put on Mickey voice.
Hi, kids.
That would be kind of scary. I would not listen to that podcast. Not like
Maybe we should pull Grace and Katie onto that kind of thing.
Yeah, that'd be
that.
fun.
Yeah.
That's true.
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
Because one thing I kind of miss about I used to do children's messages more, as part
Hold
of an old
on, you
church.
might get signed up for something right here,
No,
Jesse.
I'm not signing myself up for anything.
You got experience in children messages?
But
I'm going to go on the record and say I do not.
one thing that it helps you do is distill ideas and try to make sense of things in as few and as simple of words as possible.
yeah.
Yeah.
Which like is useful like for when I'm writing lessons or explaining something, especially to somebody who isn't familiar with the faith. It's like, how could I be as efficient as I possibly can to get my message across?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
you-
so a podcast like that could be really
Yeah,
interesting in that
I'd be
regard.
super down.
I think I'm going to need to change my office in the new building, just make it literally just a studio.
Yeah.
You guys are on
Here
the
we
way
go.
with the black paint, so
That's true. It's true.
bold move. But it makes sense for what you guys do.
Yeah.
Mine's
It's going to be a good time.
Yeah.
Cool. Anything else that you want to share before? I mean, I think we have you on roughly every 30 episodes, so
I'll just keep going.
we'll just.
Yeah, so does this mean that I get like a 60 episode
Oh, shoot, we just did 2 in a row.
No, I'm
Break or suspension? Whoa, hold on here.
That's true. That's true.
I think we've talked about it, and we weren't sure if we were going to get to it with this, but I think it was wise that we structured it more intentionally. I do think that we need to talk about some CCM.
Yeah. I
Maybe
think
maybe
that's-
aside from this series,
like a jort.
maybe a jort.
Could
That's
be a jort,
true.
a hot take jort.
Maybe we need to make it a jort so that it doesn't go too long.
That's probably good for our
Yeah.
own sakes.
What are you doing in 10 minutes? Just kidding.
I got time. I got to
Cool.
leave at 2:30.
That'd be really.
Well,
Hey,
hey,
George Ort.
I really wish that I had had it with me to be able to present it to you. But maybe I'll present it on the jort. And you know what? No. I'm gonna hold it. I'm gonna hold it off until that jort.
Ooh,
We've
cliffhanger.
got a surprise coming for you and for our listeners that I'm pretty excited about. So stay tuned. Keep an eye out for that jort on CCM, which stands for Christian Contemporary Music. For the record, in case you don't know what CCM is, yeah. Jesse, anything in closing?
Thank you, AJ.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks so much for coming. It's always a pleasure.
I like nerding out about this stuff.
Yeah,
We like nerding out with you too.
here we go. A little taste of Eden dust.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks for listening, everyone. Bye, Mom.
This has been an episode of You Heard It Said, a podcast of Jubilee Studios. Make sure to like and subscribe to stay up to date with new episodes to come, and share this pod with your friends. Thanks for listening.